Hi, I'm Brien Lundin, and I am speaking to you from the Metals Investor Forum in Vancouver, Canada. It is a great conference. I'm encouraged by the number of people we see here and how enthusiastic they are. I think they're enthusiastic because this conference is replete with opportunities. Great situation in the market, tremendous values just lying in front of us waiting to be picked up. One of the best of these is a company in the gold newsletter portfolio, and one of which I'm a personal shareholder, and that's Heliostar Metals, symbol HSTR on the Venture Exchange. Had the great pleasure to talk with Charles Funk today, the guy behind that company here. And Charles, it's been what a tremendous opportunity, because I came into Heliostar as a shareholder because I was excited about the projects before this big project, Anapola project, that you were able to acquire. Some might say steal at the value you got for it. And it was a project, just to give the broad picture for our audience, a project that was originally envisioned as an open pit project that had a high grade core that supposedly juiced up the economics. But there were problems in those economics and recoveries. You saw that it was it was a high-grade project. And viewed from that aspect, you could take a bit of a hit in the recoveries and develop a very profitable high-grade project. I'm not sure how much you knew about it beforehand, but it seems like everything that you've done since then has proved up not only what was thought was high-grade, not only what was thought was large-scale, and decent recoveries, but you've improved tremendously in all three aspects. Let's describe that. Then I want you to tell me how much of that was a surprise to you and just plain good fortune or just brilliance on your part to know that that was going to happen.
Yeah, it pays to be lucky sometimes.
Yeah, it always does.
And I think more philosophically, I have a view that if you take risks in good projects, you'll often get rewarded. And if you take risks on poor projects, you get let down.
Good surprises.
I think it speaks to the pedigree of the
good
property.
Surprises versus bad surprises.
Yeah, but you're right. We set a very aggressive set of goals last year. And, the drilling, the resource, bringing high grade forward, we've got 200,000 ounces at 10 grams to start a mine life with.
To start, that's literally where you would start.
Precisely, with a 50-metre width. The network came back, conventional 80% recoveries. We made every post a winner last year and fundamentally changed.
And it was thought that was going to be 70% recoveries, and it came in at 80.
That was the one that was a genuine surprise. We didn't know how much we could potentially improve the recovery. We just knew the door was open. The resource, we saw that there was that potential. Mm-hmm. The one that we couldn't categorize was the network. And that significantly exceeded our expectations. That's probably the most de-risking aspect of what we did last year.
Yeah, and for free. I mean, you had to pay for the metallurgy, but you didn't have to drill off a single additional ounce to get all of the ounces and all of the economics that implied in one fell swoop.
Correct. It's a 10% increase to either the total ounces or the grade, if you think of it that way.
Yeah.
And then the ounces that we did add in the drill program, we added for $16 an ounce.
Yeah.
So we extended. In an environment where the cost of capital is high, we stretched our dollars a long way.
Yeah, $16 an ounce, but these aren't typical ounces. These are high grade, easily achievable, easy to get to ounces, and easy to process ounces. Let's talk a bit about the size. How many ounces are we looking at here?
Yeah, so in the measured and indicated category, we've got just under 750,000 ounces at 6.6 grams, and then another 400,000 inferred ounces.
Yeah.
So, cumulatively, we thought we could get to around 1 million. We blew past that.
Yeah.
So much so that I think we can target 1.5 million ounces in another resource update later this year. Mm-hmm. It's getting a lot. We found that parallel zone that had never been recognised.
Yeah, I was about to ask you about that. It's one thing to have the deposit that exceeds all of what you thought it was, and you bought for a great price, but then to find a parallel deposit that could mimic maybe even duplicate to a large extent what you've already found. That has to be exciting.
Yeah, it's of course it is. They're ounces that close. 50 meters away is going to go into the mine plan. There's the potential for more of these to the north. It's a fundamental change, almost like just turn everything 90 degrees and the world opened up for opportunity.
Oh, really?
We would have done what the previous operators did first. But then we have the benefit of all that data to come up with the new model, and the new model's showing a lot more high grade.
Yeah. So catalysts going forward, you would think that it would be a great catalyst to drill off so many ounces like this, but this has been a lousy market. And I know I talked to a lot of mining CEOs, and they're just bemoaning the market. From an investor standpoint, it's an incredible opportunity to get projects at these prices, but a project like yours that is so vastly underrated in my mind in this market, high grade and what should be tremendous economics and growing. Again, every surprise we see is a positive surprise. What do investors that get in now, what do they have to look forward to over the next year?
Yeah, I think the way to answer that is, in this market, you need your management teams to be creative. Yeah. If you do the same thing everyone else is doing, you're going to get punched in the face by a lack of equity interest. And so, we raised $5.2 million in November with a warrant incentive program. Tried to come up with an innovative way that removed a warrant overhang, got us capital at a lot cheaper price than a standard capital raise. And so right now we're looking at something quite innovative internally. And so one of the unique things about Anapola is how quickly it can move to production. Yeah. And that speed actually has a huge impact on the MPV. The same project built in 3 years is worth twice as much as the same project in 10 years.
Yeah, time is money.
And so we've got 400 meters of decline, and we're internally looking at pushing that into the ore body. We'll make a decision in Q1 this year, but we think we can fund that from the gold that would come from the bulk sample that we'd mine. Okay. It would mean doing it without equity. And so we continue to look for clever, innovative ways. Our key deliverables this year is a PEA likely in Q3. In the next few weeks, we'll update formally our timelines. The resource update in Q4, material uplift at the same grades in the resource we think we can achieve. The PEA will show how much we've improved the economics with the approach that we've got, particularly how much we can lower the CapEx. And then there's real joker in the pack that's potentially a non-equity self-funding pathway to further de-risk and advance the property.
And that would be the decline?
Putting the decline in, mining a bulk sample, showing the network works at a larger scale.
Would that give you access to deeper drilling?
Precisely. So that gives us the platform. The resources, as we know, is open at depth. Right. The two closest deposits to us are sort of 15 and 20 million ounce cumulative deposits in the Morelos complex at Torosas and Los Filos. So who knows how big Anapola could come, and that decline, part of the side benefit of that, as well as getting us into the ore body, is a platform to drill off the rest of the resource.
How's the grade profile look so far at depth? I'm not a geologist, but I know a lot of deposits get higher grade as they go to depth.
Yeah, so we're fortunate we've got extremely high grades at surface, and we know they continue. So there is multi-meter ounce intercepts down 700 meters below surface, but it's tough to drill those. Just getting the decline makes it a lot easier and a lot cheaper to go deeper. And it's that high grade we expect to continue.
What about the parallel zone this year? Any exploration of that?
So we'll continue. We think there's 100 to 300,000 ounces that we can bring into the resource. So that's evolving into a systematic resource drill program now. Yeah. And we'll look for more parallel panels to the north.
And this is all Anapola. You have a couple of other wild cards in there as well.
I think our portfolio is exceptional. The San Antonio project is a home run oxide heap leach project that's worth a lot or nothing, depending on a permit. Yeah. And we have an option structure.
How many ounces there again?
1.7 million ounces.
1.7 million ounces that has not been able to be permitted, and that was kind of thrown into the deal as just a bonus.
The stake knives in there. Right. So we work away quietly. One day I'll ring you up and say, Brien, surprise. And we had Unga, a project in Alaska that's, I think, has a lot of potential. Yeah. But we're in a market where the cost of capital is high. Yeah. Anapola can move to production the quickest, and so we focus there for the moment.
And Unga is, a project 400,000 or 500,000 ounces, around 10 grams per ton.
14 grams.
Yeah, 14. I'm sorry. I've really been accused of underestimating, but understating things. But yeah, and it's that I was originally, again, I bought into the company on the basis of that project. So now you've got so much more, and it's great to see a quality project that's being advanced by, a quality team that's doing everything right. There's been a few examples of that in this market that we've seen over the last few years where, a great deposit can actually be ruined by a bad team, and a good team can make a winner out of a bad deposit. When you've got a great team and an exceptional deposit that continues to grow, good things can happen. And the good news now is I think shareholders can buy Heliostar at about the same level I bought it for just Unga in particular. So, man, what a great opportunity.
Yeah, I think you've summed it up very well. It's going to be the next gold mine in Mexico. I don't know what project can beat us there, and we know that creates a lot of value, this curve that we're on for the next 18 months.
And I'm excited to see when you come out with that PEA, because that high grade right at surface, that's going to be a killer. That really is. That's going to be
looking forward to it.
You look excited. Thank you, Charles. I appreciate you telling us the story.
Thank you.